Hey everyone, my name is Andrew Bosco. I'm the CEO at the Candor Investment Group. I'm here to kind of talk to you today about really the new beginning. At this point, Candor, we started a few years ago, back in 2019, where the founder, John Bombachi, started Candor with honestly the mission of just helping everybody. His whole goal was to focus on investment properties, and the idea was to help people build financial security through investments. Over the years, the team has grown to him and a handful of others, to now we're 50 plus strong agents and across numerous states. At this point in time, Candor is growing national. We're going to grow bigger. We have focused on working locally in Massachusetts and New Hampshire. We started to go into Maine a little bit. We've started Connecticut and Rhode Island. But since then, we've actually changed our focus. We went from a local brokerage feel to asking ourselves, why don't we just help everybody? And so at this point, Candor has basically made the focus to join eXp Realty. We have the national coverage now. This coverage allows us to help anybody in the country, and honestly, outside of the country, to help others reach financial security. Our intention and goal is we want to help 1 million people reach that financial security that they probably didn't think was so possible before. And so at this point, I'm excited to kind of bring to you the change coming. It's a strategic change. We're still the same us. We're still Candor. We're still helping people with culture. We're still being pretty gritty. We're still having the meetups that are free to you and all of your friends and family to grow and make their life better. We want to hit our goals, and so we're not restricting ourselves to a territory, but we're opening it up to really anybody that wants help. So I'm excited to bring you the change that's coming. We're still us, we're still here to help you, and let's get this thing going. Our agents at Candor are completely data-driven. We are all investors ourselves. Real estate is an asset. It's numbers first. And so we use that mindset to not be lucky or to not just have straight intuition. We are using it to be backed by data. The entire point to be a part of Candor is you have to be an investor or want to be one. That is the culture that John instilled, and I'm keeping the same culture going forward. And that's the intention of what we want to do to grow our brokerage, is to be investor focused and investors first. So realistically, what does that mean for you if you're a buyer or if you're a client of ours? It means that we're going to have our systems in place anywhere where we have our clientele wanting to work, as well as agencies working. My goal is that I want all of our agents to be trained appropriately for how we work as Candor, have the right culture fit, and be able to help where it seems fit. The numbers don't lie. The numbers aren't the same across the country or around the world. Numbers work based on the market. I want a specialized agent working with you in that area. And that's what you're going to get when you work with the Candor Investment Group. Our focus is you as the client. We are investors. We know how to help investors. That's our intention, and that's what we're going to do. So you may or may not be wondering, how did some farm boy from New Hampshire become the CEO of an investment firm brokerage out of Massachusetts and also national? Kind of a funny story. Very fortunate. I grew up with incredibly loving parents in a rural place in New Hampshire called Rochester. And in Rochester, New Hampshire, I grew up on a farm, and I would probably say blue collar parents. My mom was a professor. My dad was a craftsman. And so at this point in my life, I saw what grit and hard work is. I also learned about hard work living on a farm. I grew up playing sports, was a classic good student. I struggled in school a lot in the sense of that I had to work really hard. I'm going to fully tell everybody that I have a learning disability like out of the gate. And so I had to kind of struggle through that for a little bit. Kind of going through sports and go through life. I went to college. I got my degree. I actually ended up finishing school and playing college lacrosse level. I ended up saying what can I do now in my life? And so you leave that point of graduating in college and you're sort of like, what do I do? I'm a 20-year-old guy. I've been given structure for years going to school. And now it's like, well, what am I going to do with it? Well, I had these degrees and I played lacrosse. So I kind of kept coaching lacrosse. And then I said, well, I guess I'll be like a scientist. Well, I joined a local pharmaceutical company, kind of worked within their manufacturing department. And it's kind of a crazy story because I'm not even at the part of being a CEO yet. This is just like life. And so I had this crazy epiphany at like my early 20s. I really didn't like my job. I actually hated it. I realized that I was making like less than 50 grand a year. And I was doing the math, and I remember sitting there being like, I got to buy a car. I got to buy a house. I need to get all these things, and I'm only making 50 grand. And then that same day, I had the worst day at work, and I quit my job. And I ended up calling a friend who was overseas at the time, and she and her husband were teachers. And I was like, well, I have a teaching degree too, and my biology degree. So I ended up living overseas for 3 years. That is probably the only reason that I'm a CEO now. I made an incredibly gutsy, risky move. I quit a stable job, realized that something wasn't right, and made a swift change. So I lived overseas for 3 years. I taught science to international students who were trilingual. Shout out to them. Good for them. I can't even speak 2 languages. And the reality is that I made that risky move to do that thing. And I read the whole time when I was overseas. I traveled and read. I saw the world. I saw third world country. I saw people that were in a completely different living situation than Rochester, New Hampshire. And I'm humbly aware that I was incredibly blessed with the life that I was given in my family versus what I saw in others. And in those travels, I don't know why I picked it up. I think I like the color purple, which is ironic now, because I saw this book and it said Rich Dad, Poor Dad. I read the book and it kind of shook my core. I realized that I was the class of person in that book that just spends money on liabilities and not assets. That book shaped me completely because then I kept reading self-help books. I kept reading all these financial books, but I wasn't implementing them. So I came back from overseas with my now wife and I became a scientist again. I figured, let's try it a second time, even though I hated it the first time. Kind of got into it because it was comfortable. And at the time coming back, I've read probably 50 books at this point. I've already done all the things. I'm still playing lacrosse, still doing stuff. And I had this crazy thing happen. I saw this random Facebook post about a meetup. And I went to this meetup and it was in Lowell at the Thorndike Exchange. It's our basically pioneer meetup that we host now at Candor. I met John. John is the founder of Candor Realty. And I came like a bat out of hell, super excited. I like brought the book being like, oh, this guy's gonna think I'm so cool. And I brought my book with me. And he's like, oh yeah, I've read it. We connected and chatted. And I read all these books and he probably won't remember this. But I remember asking him, what should I do next? And he gave really simple advice. He's like, listen, I think you're a really nice guy, but I think you read a lot. I think you need to start doing something. That shook me. I read 50 books and I didn't apply a single bit of knowledge. This probably sounds like a large portion of the listeners right now. You spend all this time reading, gaining info, training, doing your thing, but you don't apply the knowledge. So while being a scientist, I also got my real estate license. And I said, I want to join Candor. You guys are the only people I want to join. So I started working at Candor as a part-time agent. I worked nights and weekends. I worked early morning. And I had a really great first year. I crushed it. I helped like 10 clients and I was hooked. And so now all of a sudden, my company at biotech, I bought my first, I had my company in biotech. I was a real estate agent. I happened to buy a 2-family house hack in Manchester, New Hampshire, absolute disaster house, learned a lot, got in the game, figured it out. And we had layoffs at my job. It hit my wife and I that if we bought a single family instead of a house hack, we probably would have foreclosed on our house. I had supplemental income from another unit being rented to offset my living expense, which changed my trajectory for how I look at real estate going forward. Fast forward now to being the CEO. I was a top producing agent in our company. I helped fix some internal systems. And John asked me pretty openly, he said, what do you want to do? What's your goal? Being a real estate agent is an incredible gift. I love helping clients and helping people. However, I knew I could do more. I knew I could build something bigger. And so we had the conversation of, he said, how do you feel being the CEO? I said no. I told him no the first time he asked me. I said, I don't think I want to do that. I think because I said no, I was being careful and pragmatic about my choice to be the CEO because I didn't know if I was the right fit. 31 years old or 32 years old when he asked me, I was like, there's no way a 31 or 32-year-old could be a CEO. That doesn't make any sense. And we were talking more. Other people and I were talking about the situation. And I realized that I built 2 companies at that point already. I've already gone through quite a lot of life experiences. And I think I bring a sense of strategy, urgency, and culture that Candor needs to kind of get to its next phase. And so I'm excited to be the CEO of Candor Realty. I'm sure my story resonates with somebody out there and that if you need to just take action, just take it. Stop trying to consume all this information and not act on it. It will work out. My story is not a linear line. It's very strange, very whooped and hold. You're probably very similar to that. So if you ever want to feel like you want to grow and you don't know where you're going, I promise you're going the right direction. You're moving, and that's what matters. So at this point at EXP, what does it kind of mean for agents? Now, this could be agents wanting to join Candor or looking at joining Candor or agents that are inside of Candor. To be honest, it actually means something pretty simple. You get more. You get more resources, more time, more people to work with. EXP has an incredible amount of resources in regards to just basic agency training. We're also part of what they call as the Wolfpack School. It's the largest school within all of EXP. And you get these free training guidelines, how to use AI, how to use social media to generate free leads. So realistically, at the end of the day, there's a lot of resources for you. But if I was an agent and I was kind of like stuck on what to do, I really have 3 tips for you. Number 1, if you want to be involved in terms of like the investment realm, you need to change your clientele basis. You need to work with investors. Now the question is like, how do you find them? Well, to be honest, there's a lot of people that want to invest that just don't know how. They need you to be the person. They need you to be the person that is guiding them. Be the shepherd. You are the person helping them out. Number two is training. I would absolutely figure out how to know your numbers. Be a content specialist. Be the person that is the go-to. Besides finding investors, you got to know what you're talking about. And so if you know what you're talking about, it's the classic phrase of if you build it, they will come. People will come to you. Show the world that you're the specialist. Show the world that you know how to do investment properties. The third is networking. I would honestly ask, best tip I could give you, and I got this from one of my mentors, find a local attorney, find a local title company, I don't care who it is. Ask them who their number one popular buyer is. Your mom and pop people buy one home for 30 years. Investors are buying every week. Ask them who they are. See if you can figure out and network a little bit. Try to get your foot in the door to work with those people. They are investors, and guess what? I would not say they're agent focused. They are deal focused. If you bring them deals and network with them, you will get that experience that you want and desire, and you could be like the bird dog. Those are my three basic tips if you want to be kind of like an investor agent going forward. So being an agent in Candor is kind of unique in that we're kind of like a motley crew. Everyone in our group is an investor, which we're all kind of quirky people. But what does that mean for you if you're inside of here? Well, if you're in the system, you get a few things. You get access to our compliance and transaction team. They're there to help you out and kind of make sure that you're being data integral. You also have access to all the trainings. There's like a 90-day sprint cohort to hit your cap, and that's a focus group that does that. There's a script and playbook group that teaches you how to work on calling sellers directly and how that actually works. There's also a group directly focused on like women empowerment. We have a group on the investor module, which is a module series that is focused on making sure that you can get your investment properties and how to learn about investments. It's a module that's less than 8 hours, and it's designed to teach you how to be an investor first. It's if you want to learn it. We also have a mentorship program. If you're brand new and you have no experience, no investing experience, great, we have mentors. We also have Lone Wolf Group, which is the group that's designed where maybe you're producing already, but you want to be part of the culture. You want to join what we're doing here every day. That's a group designed just for you, where you can kind of be in your own. And then we have the meetups. That's our biggest differentiator. We have the meetups that are free to anybody. We have speakers that come. Our locations in Massachusetts, Maine, and New Hampshire, and Connecticut and Rhode Island coming up. We're going to make sure that we have these meetups all the time. We are trying to always provide value. And so when you're an agent within our company, we have I think over 50 plus new leads every single month that come in that go to these meetups that are just looking for help, and they want an agent to help them walk them through the process. You get to work with those clients. And so we bring people to you to work with within our meetups. Between the trainings, the meetups, just the investor mindset culture that you're around, the resources we provide, the sponsors that we work with, who are people that we work with every day because we trust and work with them, you get access to all of this being at Candor Investment Group. So we're at this point now, what's next? I have a 5-year plan. I know exactly what I want. I want us to be in 20 plus states across the country with different pocket groups. I want over 200 agents across the company helping clients around the entire nation. And I want to help 1 million people reach that financial security. They could be investors through syndications, other agents, clients, I don't care. We will be hitting that goal. We are tracking our metrics to do it. So realistically, what does it mean for you? Well, if you're an agent, come join us. You want to be part of the movement? We're going from a local feel to a national feel now. We're growing and expanding. If you want to be an agent that focuses with investors or wants to be an investor themselves, you should join us. Come be part of the group that we're here to make sure that you're better and you're securing your financial freedom while helping others. Maybe you're a client. Reach out to us. We're here to work with you and help you anywhere that we have access to make sure that you get the help that you want in growing your personal wealth and portfolio. To be honest, most clients, you guys are planting trees for a shadow you're never going to feel. These are all for your future and your generational wealth. We're here to help you achieve that. If you want to learn more about us, we have all the social media links you can follow below. You can follow us at the Candor Investment Group meetups or the Candor Investment Group. We're here to make sure that we're helping you achieve that financial security. I look forward to talking to you guys, and I'll keep updating you as the story grows. Thanks so much.